The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod and we are coming to you live from the Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California. This is the home for Autism Live. It is also the home for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. Hey, I'm kind of thrilled and excited this morning because today is the very first day of our Sensitive Santa 2019. This is an amazing event that we do. We partner with We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym and with the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. And we normally do one day, a Saturday, and the kids come and whoever can't be there, it doesn't happen, right? And so many people have said, we wish you would do it more days. So we decided to do it Thursday and Friday and Saturday. And so we have tickets, and in a little while, I'm gonna have Dina Kimmel on the show, and you're gonna see this is such a great event. So Los Angeles, come on, there's tickets. They're there for the taking, they're free. You must register. If you try to register in an hour that is already full, please go on the waiting list and please show up anyway. Thus far, we've always been able to fit everybody in. So please do that. Now, Traven is showing you there the poster. We want to make sure that you know if you go to our Facebook account right now, Autism Live on Facebook, it's very easy. There's a post that's right underneath where you'll be watching this live show. Just click on the post, register, and be there. Be there or be square, right? But we're still going to do this hour, and we're going to be here with Dina Kimmel. We've got some other things that we're going to be doing as well, and I wanted to make sure that I reminded you that here at Autism Live, we like for everything to be interactive. So Traven's going to show you some of the different ways that you can participate in this show right now, and while he does that, I want to remind you that our homepage is autism-live.com. If you go there, you can be watching the show. You can watch other segments, thousands of hours that we have in a library there. You can chat with us at the bottom of the page. Just click on the chat. Or you can go to the toy guide at the top of the page. You can search topics, or you can search, we have playlists for you. So if you know, well, I really like the recipe things, you will want to go to the What's Left playlist, and you can search through all of the segments that we have there that are gluten-free, casein-free, and mostly soy-free. So check it out however it works for you. We hope that you will do that. I do like to remind you when I have the opportunity that we have lots of experts who are on the show. I am not one of them, and I want to be very clear about that. I am not an expert in the field of autism. I am not a board-certified behavior analyst. I am not a licensed marriage and family therapist. I am a mom, a very proud mom. My son was diagnosed at 2.5. We did 5 years of intensive ABA, and let me just tell you, it kicked my keister 68 ways from Sunday, but it was so worth it. So worth it, because I now have a 16-year-old who's amazing. And so I now need to give back. That is part of my mission here. I love that Oprah sings to herself, you know, use me up. I believe me, this week I feel like I'm used up, but I appreciate it and I want to do more of it, and I want to do that with you. You know, I always say, come on, let's hold hands. Si se puede. We can do this, but we have to do it in groups together, because it's impossible to do by yourself. So join me here. Tell me what you need. And I'm not an expert, but I have an informed opinion, and I have connections now after having done shows about autism for over 10 years. If I don't know somebody, I know somebody who knows them, and I'm not afraid to ask for a phone number ever. So please utilize me as sort of your switchboard. Tell me what you need and let me see if, put me to work. Maybe I can help you to get to the answers that you're looking for, because this is not one size fits all. What I need is not necessarily what you need. What my kid needs or needed is not necessarily what your kid needs. Let's be specific. So write in, don't make me guess. I always say I gave up mind reading to be an autism mom. So don't make me guess, tell me what you need. All right. We also, one of the things that we like to do at the top of the show on Thursday mornings that I'm very fond of, and you guys apparently are too, we call this segment the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym, and we try to figure out what in the hey nani nani are those experts talking about, and why do we have to care? Why do we have to know, right? I just want to whine about it. But the truth is, the reason why we have to care and the reason why we have to know about it is it saves us time, energy, money, and it leads us to better success. So we don't want to get overwhelmed with the jargon, though. That's why we take it one little thing at a time. Hey, well, I was just about to say, how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. And the person who used to say that to me all the time was Dr. Jonathan Tarbox. He was a regular here on this show for many years. And he did an article, it's on my Facebook right now. I was so humbled. They interviewed him for a behavioral science, I guess it's like a fanzine, like it's a magazine that goes out on the internet. And so they interviewed and profiled him and asked him a bunch of questions, and they asked him who his heroes were. And first he talked about the fact that the first mom he ever worked with is with him every day. And that just, to me, I was like, oh, if we only knew how much we all cared about each other. To hear that this amazing professional that carries the first mom that he ever worked with him every day is just stunning, right? And then he went on to talk about a lot of great people. And but then he said that I am one of his inspirations. Mentioned me by name and said this show, and I was like, stop, you're gonna make me cry, right? But I said this morning, you know, I use things that he taught me every single day. And he would always say to me, you know, you can't do it all at once, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's what we do with the jargon, one bite at a time. So thank you, Dr. Jonathan Tarbox. Okay, and today's jargon term, apparently we've never done this one before, and I just don't understand why, because it's, you'll see. Because first we like to give you the actual definition, and sometimes we even quote different places on the internet or books or whatever where you can reasonably look up these terms and get a definition. Then we often make fun of that definition because really, what else can you do? Because you really can't understand it. And then we give you a watered down version that will help you, hopefully. Our goal is to help you to go, oh, that's what they're talking about, right? And if we can, you know, make some BCBAs break out into hives while we're doing it, you know, that's just a benefit, right? Right? All together, si se puede. Okay, so today's term is inhibition. Now, I love this one because it's one of those ones that you go, well, I know what inhibition is. I absolutely, but then when it comes to autism and ABA, do I know what it is? And it's kind of the same, but it's a little bit more focused. But let's take a look at how, what our source, and I put it on here. I don't know where it went, Traven. I put what the source was on it. Do you have it on yours? Yes. Scienceofbehavior.com. That's the source. Okay, you guys ready for this? A process, inhibition is a process inferred from a response decrement. Okay. The term extended to behavior by analogy to usage in physiology is appropriate only when it can be demonstrated that the decrement is produced by an increment in something else. For example, if reinforcing one response reduces the rate of another, the reinforcement may be said to inhibit the second response. The term is sometimes extended to accounts of the process of extinction, in part because extinction may be accompanied by increments in other responding. For example, behavior characterized as emotional. So glad they cleared that up for me. Such accounts are often unsupported by demonstrations that the increments produce the extinction decrement rather than simply accompany it. And when they do not distinguish between conditions that reduce responding and those that fail to mention it, they may be misleading. we need to get like a big applause sound for like crowd going wild, going, yay! Now we understand inhibition. What? I don't even know what that meant. Okay, so rather than delve into that, because that is just hilarious. Like, talk about walking out of your way to make something more complicated. Come on. But thank you, Science of Behavior, because let me just say that it's a great site. And please go there and visit. But this particular this particular definition is only for people who have many letters after their name and want to be impressive. Okay, so let's water this down and let's take a look at what our working definition of inhibition is. It's stopping yourself from doing something or paying attention to something. So when we're trying to teach inhibition to a child on the autism spectrum, perfect example that I can think of is, it was right around Thanksgiving time, and my son and I were in line at a grocery store to buy some Thanksgiving supplies. And the gentleman who was in line ahead of us had the biggest nose I have ever seen in my life. Like, it was remarkable, right? And we had gone through this whole phase with my son where, you know, if you know the verbal operants, you know, we wanted him to be able to label things, right? We wanted him to be able to tact, and tact is when you notice something new or novel in the environment and you draw the attention to it to somebody else. So, you know, in terms of teaching tacting, we loved the idea that my son saw this nose and went, Mom, that guy has a ginormous nose, right? Like, that's great that he learned that skill, but now we have to back it up and teach him that you don't say everything you think, because sometimes it's rude. And sometimes there were rules. And sometimes if we're taking perspective taking, right, we're understanding that will hurt somebody else's feelings, which comes under the heading of rude. But, you know, so in the moment, I was like, he noticed and called it to my attention, which is great because we're creating this joint attention thing. Woohoo, right? Except not, because in society, and here is this gentleman who probably his whole life has had people go, every time they look at his nose, and he doesn't need this 5-year-old with autism going, Mom, look at how big that guy's nose is. So we began to work on inhibition. And right around the same time, we were at a farmer's market. We walked up to a dear friend of mine, and she said, well, hello. And she said, I've never met your son before. And so I was introducing Jem to her, and Jem looked up at her beautiful face, and just with, you know, complete honesty that we see in the autism world, he said, you're really old, right? And I was like, oh, you know, and she said, no, it's fine. I am really old, and he's being honest. And so, you know, but we teach inhibition to be able to inhibit the response to say everything that you think. So we began to teach him, you know, you might look at it, you go, oh, somebody's got a big nose, or oh, somebody's very wrinkled, but we don't have to say everything that we think. We can inhibit our response of wanting to voice it and make a choice about, do we want to say it or not, right? Or let's say we're in a classroom and somebody is making noise next to us and our attention wants to go there. That's where it feels like it's going to go, but we can inhibit that response and say, no, pay attention to your paper. Pay attention to what you have. So it gives us the ability to notice and then say, I'm not going to pay attention to that, or I'm not going to say that. And for lots of different reasons, right? So that we can stay on course to do what we need to do, and we can take perspective of other people and realize, oh, I don't want to say to that person, wow, you're really fat, right? The thought was there, right? But we don't have to say everything that we think. So when we teach inhibition, we're helping somebody to achieve their goals. We really are, because nobody wants to be thought of as being rude, right? If we knew what the rules were, and if we understood them completely, we would never want to be thought of as being rude. Anyone. Believe me, I have lots of friends who are on the autism spectrum, and they hate it if they get caught out being rude. Don't we all? I think that's a human trait. This whole idea of people on the spectrum don't have empathy, don't even get me started. That is just the exact opposite is what the truth. I think they are some of the most caring individuals, but they just don't know what the rules are, right? So inhibition, we begin to talk about how, you know, all these things are happening, but we don't have to respond to all of them. We can say, I'm not going to do that. For me, a lot of times, like I'll be in the middle of doing something and somebody says something and then I want to go do that. Or I've got to leave the house right now if I'm going to be on time and the phone rings and I feel compelled to go and answer the phone, and I can inhibit my response to that and go, no, I'm choosing to get in my car because I'm choosing to be on time. And whoever that is, I can talk to them later on. So inhibition, right? We talk about people having no inhibition, right? That they, you know, take the shirt off someplace, right? We want for people to think through, make choice, and stop yourself from doing something or paying attention to something. Make sense? Inhibition. It's not the first thing we teach, right? But down the road, it is a very, very important thing that we teach. Okay, moving on. We always have a question of the day for you. And my question for you is, what are you looking forward to? You know, it was brought to my attention last week that during the holidays, people often find themselves in a position where they can get a little low, right? It's a time when we're told that we're supposed to be happy and joyous, but if things aren't happy and joyous for you already, then often it can become a time when people can find themselves sinking into depression. And while a lot of times that's something that requires professional help, and sometimes it requires medicine. But if we can, for sometimes it can be a shift in the thought process, right? And for some folks, the holidays can be a thing to be gotten through. And so I just wanted to talk today about the importance of having something to look forward to. And this came about because we were having a discussion about a young person who unfortunately committed suicide. And that's always a hard subject, right? But my heart bled because I immediately thought, where did we forget to teach them that there's always something to look forward to? Where did we fall down in letting that young person know that even no matter what today is, there's always something to look forward to. And when we have folks who have things that look forward to, I think it helps you to get through the hard things. And let me just tell you, I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. In the years that my son was first diagnosed with autism, first the descent into autism, and then probably the first 2 years, until I was 100% sure that we were doing the right thing and that he was making tremendous progress. And that took me a long time to really understand, because I felt like we were so behind. I was like, yeah, he's talking now, but is he going to be able to go to college? It took me probably close to 2 years before I was like, oh, I think we're going to be okay if we just keep doing what we're doing, right? So for that period of time, I would say probably 2.5 years, it was really hard. It was really hard. Everything that I thought that I wanted and that my life was going to be felt like it was someplace way, way, way far away, and that I would never see it again, and that I had to make peace with this new way of looking at things. And it was really hard. And I know that for me, it was 2.5 years, and for some of you, it's been 22.5 years, right? And I just think it's really important for all of us, celebrate whenever you can. Celebrate every single milestone. Find reasons to celebrate. I've always said that so many people who aren't dealing with a kiddo on the spectrum, they don't know how many miracles happen in their lives every day. When a child spontaneously says a complete sentence and nobody had to work on that for weeks on end, that's a miracle. And they don't know it. And as hard as it is to watch our kids have to work to be able to get, and hopefully get to the point where they can get a whole sentence out, as hard as that is, if they get one word out, if they get the sentence out, we get the privilege of celebrating it, of knowing how hard won that was. So don't miss out on the good parts. Celebrate every single thing that they do. Celebrate with them, celebrate for them, show them that it's something to be celebrated, right? So there's absolutely that, but give yourself things to look forward to. And it could be things that are just for you. It could be, the smallest thing, which is that you get time on Friday to play that ridiculous game on the phone that you like to play for 15 minutes. Like, look forward to it. Please do. Or it could be something huge and far away, that's something that you're going to do in 10 years from now. I don't know. But if it excites you, like, really anchor yourself in that then, and think about that and spend some time and get excited about it. I will tell you, it feels better if you put some action towards it. If you say, okay, well, that thing that I want to do in 10 years, so right now, today, I'm going to take action for it so that it happens in 10 years. Because it's not enough to just think about it, although thinking about it is helpful, but then put some action towards it. But we all need something to look forward to. So write in and tell us, name it, right? Dr. Phil says you gotta name it to claim it. So what are you looking forward to? Okay, and then our topic for this week, this is a very important topic to me. It's called Get the Tartar Sauce. So years ago, they used to make those little life's instruction booklets that everybody would give to people graduating from high school and college and so on and so forth. And every page had a different little thing on it. And somebody gave me one at a time when I was trying to do something that was a little bit hard. And I was flipping through it, and one of the pages said, when you're going to do something that's difficult, make up your mind from the beginning that you're going to be successful. Just make up your mind that you're going to be successful. For example, and this is what was on the page, it said, if you're going after Moby Dick, pack the tartar sauce. Pack the tartar sauce knowing that you're having fish dinner. Because you're going to do it no matter what. And I got to tell you that I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. I was significantly younger, but it was something that stuck with me through a couple of different hard things in my life, so that by the time we got to autism, I had that idea from way back when, and I said, okay, so we're gonna pack the tartar sauce. And sometimes when things were hard, I would literally go get a jar of tartar sauce and I would put it someplace where I could see it. And I would look at it and be like, yes, because we're going there. And you know what? When you make your mind up about something like that, you know that there's going to be challenges. And you accept it and you go, yep, here comes a challenge. All right, what are we going to do to get around it, over it? You don't sink into the, oh, no. We're done now. It just isn't an option, because if you've already decided that you're going to go there, you find a way to get through the challenges, and you don't take them as seriously because they're not unexpected. You're not caught off guard. So I say to you, what and where have you packed the tartar sauce? Where have you made up your mind? What is your sticking point? And it's different for everybody, but where are you going? I know that for me, I was like, my child is going to be able to go to college. That is where we are going, and I don't care. And believe me, there were people along the way who were like, well, that's not really going to be possible, right? And I would be like, not on my team. I'm not going to stand and argue with this person who does not understand the mission that we're on, right? I wish I could apply this to everything in my life, because, man, when I get into that mode, I call it being in the wind tunnel, because you just feel like you're being flung down the tunnel. It feels good. It feels right, because you know where you're going, and you know that stuff's going to happen, and you decide to do it anyway. So I'm asking you, get the tartar sauce. Figure out what it is that you've made your mind up for, and get that tartar sauce, and let's do this. Whatever it is, it's not a one-size-fits-all, but you make up your mind, and then let's get the tartar sauce, okay? Sounds good to me. Okay, so we've got some great show for you today. It's all about the toys, and I love the toys, right? In just a minute, we've got a wonderful interview that we're going to be doing with Liza Brando. She is the president of the Moss Tucker Group. Oh, you guys. You've seen my little guys here in the corner here. And there's a lot of green on this box, so you can see a lot of things are cutting out. But I'm going to pull one of these. These are called Emota capsules, and then we're going to talk about a couple of other products that they do. Because when we're teaching emotions to kiddos, I think this is amazing. So we're going to talk about these great gifts in just a few minutes. And don't forget, Dina Kimmel coming up a little bit later. So stick with us right back after these messages.
Hey, I'm Candace Cameron Bray.
Tom Bergeron.
You're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
You're watching Autism Live.
Do you provide care services to someone with autism? Recently, more and more children are being diagnosed with the condition and getting the support they need as awareness grows. But what happens to these children as they grow up? It's estimated that over 500,000 youth with autism will turn 18 in the next decade, and they'll be faced with a very difficult reality. As children with autism grow up, their services start to disappear or become very difficult to access. Things like medical care, mental health counseling, vocational training, and more. All services that are still desperately needed. The loss of support that youth with autism face as they grow up is so severe that it's referred to in the autism community as falling off a cliff. Adults with autism need the same level of support they had as children to avoid falling off the services cliff. Introducing Skills Living, the web-based software designed specifically to help transitioning youth and adults with autism so they can avoid the cliff and instead fly to success. With Skills Living, help your learner with autism develop the skills they need in all the critical areas of adult life, including self-control, planning, and problem-solving, effective communication, performing life skill tasks for independent living, acquiring and maintaining employment or other meaningful activities, developing and maintaining social skills and relationships, accessing transportation and public services, and being safe. Skills Living includes a comprehensive assessment, a data collection mobile app, behavior intervention plan builder, and automatic progress reporting. It also provides a complete curriculum addressing 16 key areas spanning the entire range of functioning adulthood. Skills Living is easy to use and can be implemented by schools, parents, and autism service providers. Call or click today for your free demo and see how Skills Living can help your learner with autism avoid the cliff and instead reach their fullest potential. Skills Living. Wish, learn, become.
Hi, Lisa Ackerman back with your Talk of Facts, the autism journey questions and answers that you need to help your child make the progress they need. I'm here to talk to you about one really important item. A lot of people ask me the question, well, Lisa, I want to see this specialist in another state. How do I do that? You know, I don't own a jet. I don't have the ability to fly without great pain and travel. Not a problem. We know how to get this done. So I actually encourage families, even though when travel can be a tremendous hardship, getting a child with autism through security, through the plane, and in the journey to where they need to go. We have a whole white paper on TACA about how to travel with special needs kids. So it can be done. So travel, we know that can be expensive. Not everyone has an unlimited supply of cash for air flights. We love and work with this group called miracleflights.org. They're fantastic. They will fly you and your child, so one parent, one adult, anywhere in the United States, one time a year. Also in the TACA document are places to stay. So often you will have people in your life that love and support your family and don't know exactly how to help. Ask them to gift you their travel or their rewards cards or coupons for hotel, rental car. That's a great way to be able to get maybe a hotel room that has a refrigerator or a microwave and that's close to a Whole Foods, so you don't have that added cost of going out to dinner, especially if your kid has a lot of allergies. It's important to note that there's not a pediatrician or a specialist by every Starbucks in the United States. Close does not always equal best. So I bring up the travel point so you know that travel is possible, number one, and often it's really going to help you get down the road faster for your kid and getting the answers you need from the specialist that knows what to do. So don't be afraid to travel.
Welcome back to Autism Live. And I misspoke before. We have joining us right now Liza Brando, and she is the president of the Moss Tucker Group. They're a wonderful PR group, and one of their clients makes these amazing toys. So Liza, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, we're so thrilled to have you here. Talk a little bit about this wonderful company, Miniland Educational, and then we're going to talk about, because we loved the products that were sent to us, and they're featured in our toy guide. In fact, they won the School Age Parent Award, and we couldn't just pick one of the things that you guys sent us. We had to group them together as 3 separate products because they were all so awesome. But tell us a little bit about this company.
So Miniland is a manufacturer of educational toys and games. They're actually from Spain, and they make these toys and games for the classroom, but also to be used at home. They're made for ages 2 to 7, so kind of like that daycare, preschool, pre-K to first grade age. But I think what's so wonderful and special about them is that in addition to the core educational curriculum that their products provide, you know, your reading, your writing, your math, most of their products, all of their products, really at the forefront, have the emotional development of the child in mind. So it's very much about that social learning, emotional learning, the role play dynamics, you know, understanding your emotions, building your self-confidence. That's really very much in play for every item in the brand.
Well, it's really remarkable how these can be used. And I was saying to you that we had a big date where we invited parents and children and adults on the spectrum, and we had all these toys out, and then we let them play, and then we let them vote, right? And everybody loved this across the board. The parents in particular went gazanga. And there was one particular parent who sat down with her son and had, I think, one of the most amazing conversations playing with these Emotacapsules. So I want to start out talking about them. They're these amazing little things that the lid comes off, right? And each one of them has a different emotion. So we've got the yellow is the happiness, and the gray is the fear, and the blue is the sadness. Red is anger, and then I've got a green one which is going to look black, but it's not. It's actually because we're on a green screen.
There, yeah.
And so that's disgust. And you know, I kind of love that it's as if what's that wonderful Disney movie that escapes my mind right now? But you know, and they're making a second one right now. They're going to hate me that I can't remember it. But you know the one I'm talking.
Me too, and I usually know, and I know exactly what you mean. That
Yes.
we're all about different emotions.
Yes,
right?
and all the emotions. What is it called,
Out,
Traven?
yes.
Inside Out. Okay. So, so it's kind of like that put together, you know, like to come out of the head and into these physicalized different containers. But then you have these little cards that have something on them. So we can talk with the child about, you know, happiness and what that is, but then we need to put it together with these other things and have a discussion about it. So we show a child a spider and say, which one would you put it in? And, you know, different children are going to respond a different way. Like the kids who love bugs and love everything having to do with science and bugs, they're going to grab this and they're going to stick it in the happy one.
Right,
And,
not everyone's going to put it in the fear one, right? Exactly.
right. And so, and there might even be a kid who feels sad when they see a bug. You know, we don't judge it. They get to put it in whatever capsule that they want to. And then we ask them to express why they feel this about the spider. And in general, they start to talk about the emotion. And I think that one of the things that's really remarkable about it is that it physically represents these things that are very hard concepts for our kids to understand. When we actually had the makers of Inside Out on the show, that's why I was saying they're going to be mad at me over this, I know, right? But I said to them, oh my gosh, you made it possible for us to, you know, show something visual to our kids to understand this inside the head, inside the body event that now they will begin to understand. But this takes it one step further. And the conversations that I saw this mom having with her young son, it was just so exciting. And the fact that if you play this with more than one person, because mom can put the spider in an entirely different container, or the therapist can, or the friend can, and then we have a discussion, and then that starts to create flexibility with emotions, which is really where we need to get to, because that's the beginning of the self-control, knowing I'm okay when I feel emotions. That's really, really incredible. So I loved this game. The parents loved this. I thought it was so super cute and smart, and it packs up nice and convenient and easy. And maybe we should right now tell people, where can they buy these wonderful, wonderful items?
Yeah, so they're available on Amazon, which I think everyone loves to hear that, right? It's easy to get, gets to you fast. They're also available in different educational stores, and also available in different places like Staples. You can find their products there as well. But Amazon is definitely the easiest.
It's so super cute. So now let's move on to the Emotions Detective.
Such a fun game.
Oh my gosh, so clever. Okay, so you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I'm doing all the talking here.
Yes, no, it's okay. That's totally fine. So Emotions Detective is almost like a true detective game to solve an emotion. So the child is basically trying to identify what emotion is going on in the photo, and they also kind of start to learn and sympathize and empathize with their peers or their friends, whoever's playing the game with them, to try and pinpoint what is that other person feeling as well. And that's kind of like the next layer, right? Once you start to identify what you're feeling, then you can start to kind of respect and appreciate what someone else is feeling, you know, around you, what their emotion is. So if they need a little bit of help to try and kind of pinpoint what that emotion might be, they could take the magnifying glass and kind of zoom in on the answer, quote unquote, to try and find out what the emotion is in that particular part of the game.
Yeah, and so it comes with all these fabulous cards. And here's the thing, you guys, this is a great game to play with anybody. And you could play this on the surface level, and, you know, older kids can play this, adults can play along with them, great game for anybody. But when you're talking about a kiddo that's on the autism spectrum, this is like a brilliant therapy toy. Kid isn't going to know that you're doing therapy, but the truth of the matter is it's actually going to save you a bunch of money, because one of the tests that they give for individuals to see where they are on the autism spectrum is almost exactly this, where they will show them a picture or maybe two pictures side by side, and they say, talk to me about what's happening here. And then they sort of, they grade them on what are the things that they noticed. Did they notice the emotion? Are they able to identify the emotion? Are they noticing a problem? Do they understand the social context of the problem, right? Because a lot of our kids don't. You've all been there in the room where something happens and the kiddo that's on the autism spectrum doesn't know how to filter it through whatever to even understand that there's a problem, right? So we work on it literally in this way, by showing cards to kiddos and say, talk to me about what's happening here. You know, what do you notice in the pictures? What do you think is going on? Now, the one that I've got here in the first picture, there's a person, looks like a male person, who's holding a remote control and standing with their arms crossed. And the child, I look at the child's face and the child looks unhappy. And now in the second one, the child has slammed the door and is upset. And so I would be talking with the child about, okay, you know, does she look like she's upset? What would tell us that she's upset here? And why do you think she's upset? Because what we want them to begin to see is that she's upset because they're not paying attention to her. And in fact, we have this magnifying glass, this red magnifying glass, and on the back of the card, like you were saying, there's the clues. If they need help, there is a picture here on the back that you can only see if you put the magnifying glass there, and it shows her sitting on the floor doing an activity together with a person who's smiling at her.
Yeah.
That's what she really wanted. So the context and understanding the context and understanding the body language. I mean, can I talk about the number of lessons that are on this one little card? And the ability to, now, when you want to be working on these lessons with kiddos, you can go buy a very expensive set of cards with which to work on it, and then you'll get to the end of the cards and have to go buy another, and I mean hundreds of dollars, you guys. So this is a game with a really cool magnifying glass that your kiddo will not know. It doesn't look institutionalized at all. You'll be working on the same thing, but I think the cards are better.
And it's $20 for the game, right?
Right. So
that's easy.
So you're saving hundreds of dollars, and I also love that we have these by category. So they spin the spinner, and we look at which kind of card that we want, and we have basically different social experiences, because some are at home, some are at school, some are when we're out and about in the community, and some are on the playground. And so then they spin the spinner and go, oh, I'm going to answer one that's about on the playground. Stop. This is so good. I can't hardly stand it. Honestly.
The child can identify with it. Yeah, and I mean, I think what's so fantastic about this game and all of the games that we've mentioned so far as well is that they're very open-ended, right? So in addition to kind of following the game, you can kind of open that dialogue to say, have you ever felt this way? You know, Is there something that I do that you wish I gave you some more attention on? You know, am I on my phone too much? Am I doing this too much? You know, it can kind of help the child know that they're being heard, that their emotions are being understood. And I think it's a great way to kind of make that connection, whereas, you know, it might be a little bit difficult to start with. So it's a really fun and engaging way to kind of get that dialogue going.
Well, and you bring up a great point, because then the next set of lessons is, what could she do? So we get into problem solving.
Right.
What could she do to get the other person to play with her? And then we have an opportunity to, you know, role play that or try that or talk about it. And I love this, you know, having the clues on the back. Here's the other part of it too, is that it comes with these wonderful tokens that are called case closed stars. They look like a detective badge, right? So that when you get something right, like when the child says, you know, I think she's upset. I think she's angry. You know, you get a gold star. It's very ABA in alignment. Whoever made this is very clever, smart, and I'm glad they're around. Let's say that. Okay, so now there's one other that won the award. Talk to us about that. I don't have it on the desk.
So the emoji blocks, which is another, I would say another personal favorite of mine as well. So emoji blocks are almost, I don't want to say the other name brand, but think of building blocks that can kind of stack together, but they are different people, you know, with different emotions. Again, so you can kind of take the body of the block and then place the head of the other block showing a particular face or emotion around. It comes with different playing cards, again, showing children's faces, making the emotions. So whether it's a happy face, a sad face, the child can then build that emotion with the blocks. And again, another great way to kind of make the game even more open-ended is, let's say you're in a situation where you're with a child that's nonverbal, right? And they really have difficulty kind of even communicating, you know, anything basic. So when you're trying to now delve even deeper for emotions, you can then have them take the blocks and show me what you're feeling. Show me what it is that you're feeling right now. So the blocks are really fun. They're very vibrant, you know, very colorful. Again, they're on Amazon, so if anyone wants to take a look, they're on there as well. And again, very affordable set. I think it's $20 again as well. So it's different, you know, a different game that kind of really encompasses that emotional development, again, in all of the toys under the Miniland brand.
They're really, really smart. And these are not the only toys that you guys have. And again, you're missing parts of the box here because they're green.
Right,
And we
because of the
shoot
green, yeah.
See, so you can see through. Yes, we're look, you're peeking through. Okay, enough of that. Where can we go to purchase and look at all of the games that are available and toys that are available through Miniland?
Yeah, so Amazon, again, any of the different kind of school supply stores, because again, they are really made for a classroom setting, but what's so wonderful about them is that they can also be used at home, with a caregiver, with a parent. But your best bet for sure is to keep looking on Amazon. Just look for the Miniland brand name, and they have a whole landing page there with all of the toys. There's everything from math games and toys to reading games, spelling games. They also have different dolls that come in various ethnicities that are anatomically correct. So you name it, they pretty much have it.
They're really remarkable. And, I also want to mention, too, that on our toy guide, if you're interested in any of the toys, and these are the winner, they would be in the school age category. They won the Apparent Award. If you go to our toy guide, which the icon is at the top of the page on our website, autism-live.com, just hover your mouse over any of the winners and you can click and it takes you directly to a place that you can purchase it. So I thank you so much, Liza, for being with us. We really appreciate.
Thank you so much for having me.
We really love. Give our thanks to everybody at Miniland.
Thank you, and thank you again for the wonderful honor. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
happy holidays.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, you guys, we're running out of time. We're a little bit late. For those of you who tuned in to watch Dina Kimmel, it's coming up next. So we're going to take this break, and then we'll be right back with We Rock the Spectrum, major, brilliant person in my life, Dina Kimmel. Stick with us. Welcome back to Autism Live. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome back to the show Dina Kimmel. When we talk about sisters in the journey, right? This is one of my sisters. Dina is the founder of the We Rock the Spectrum kids gyms, but that's like, so that makes the sentence so small, and yet it's such a big thing because you're international.
You're very nice.
In so many places. These are magical places where our kids can go and see, I'm going to get weepy. Our kids can go and have the very best time, work out their yayas, get the physical piece together, but also get the social piece together. It's a place for the moms to go. Every time I go, I was there the other night decorating for this event that we're going to talk about in a second, and there were a bunch of moms that were sitting there and they were having conversations at the counter while the kids were talking and playing, and I just thought, what a gift! What a gift!
It's community. It's building a community.
But it's so much more than that because they get that physical piece that they need so that our kids don't get behind, because they can and do if they don't get that. And there's a place indoors. It was pouring rain here in Los Angeles, and so the kids were still being physical. They were having that interaction. They were having a blast, and I thought, what a gift this place is. What a gift you are to our community and to the world. And I'm so lucky because once a year I get to play in her sandbox with her for a hot minute because you so graciously host us for the Sensitive Santa. We do that in conjunction with you. And that is happening tonight and tomorrow night and Saturday at the corporate flagship location. In Tarzana, California. It's on Krebs Avenue for those of you who are local. We still have some tickets, unbelievably, because we expanded it. Before we only, as you know, did it one day. And Dina would always say to me, why do you do all this work for one day, Shannon? What is up with that? And so I said, all right, let's do it 3 days. Let's see what this is. But so we have more tickets than we've ever had before, and it's free. People, tell them about what happens when they come, because you love this event.
Oh gosh, well first of all, my whole family looks forward to it every year because again, as we talk about, we're autism mommies first and foremost, and thank you so much for your general introduction because you are, seriously, I look up to you in so many ways, and you and I argue about that now.
Because I am significantly older than you. So you should. Yes.
Well, what I feel like the public, doesn't understand, okay, if you don't have a child on the spectrum, is Santa Claus and going into the mall and taking a photo with Santa. That doesn't exist for us. That doesn't happen. First of all, going to the mall was difficult.
Right.
It isn't anymore, gratefully, but when he was younger and, you have that dream, and I have another child, and we'd go and we'd wait in line. She'd sit on Santa's lap and the picture. Oh my gosh, it was so great. That doesn't happen when you have a child on the spectrum. So gratefully, you, 5 years ago, and no, I hadn't thought about it. This is your creation, had come to me and said, "Listen, Dina, can we use, your gym?" And I thought, oh my God, this sounds fabulous. Well, you blew us away, Shannon. First of all, okay, Santa Claus is just, amazing. But you create this safe sensory environment. You create your little Santa Claus adventure and time, and in a faraway place from other children. So it's this intimate event. You get to sit on Santa's, lap and take a picture, and the parents get to. It's not just about the kids too. It's about the parents feeling like they get to experience that as well. The child, of course, okay, but some of our kiddos, as you know, they don't even understand that part yet, right?
Yeah.
So it's the parents experiencing that, and then they get the present, and then all of a sudden, I remember Gabriel's first time. He was. I don't know if you remember, he was so excited he brought this long list, and there's Mrs. Claus here with this long list. And I said, Gabriel, he goes, no, I need to give it to him. So he was just so thrilled. So in looking back, at all the photos, we do this every year in December, and now, are we going on is it 5th year or 4th year?
See, I said it was the 6th year, but I might be mistaken. Maybe it's the 5th year.
I think it's the 5th year. I don't know. All I know
One of the years you weren't there, you were in Malaysia.
That was 3 years ago. Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
So
good memory.
No, I remember because I was like, I need Dina. She's in Malaysia.
And I was so sad because I missed all of it, and Santa's helpers, and just the whole experience, like I said, is something that I would have never, ever been able to experience without you and bringing this amazing event to our gym. And what I'm really proud to tell you is, and I don't think I've shared with you this yet before, is that all the gyms now across the world, we've got now, 80 Is that a good sign when you don't know how many locations that you have?
I think
We've
it's
got
very good.
83 locations,
That's amazing.
and they're all doing Sense of Santa events.
Well, I love that. When people ask, because there's a lot of Sensitive Santa events now, and I love that, all over the world, and people ask me what's different about our Sensitive Santa event, and I say to them, well, okay, the first biggest thing is that we do it at We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym, which means there's no waiting in line ever. And for me, that is the key to everything. And the kids come in, they come in for an hour, and they come in with their siblings, and they play in the gym. And they don't really have a sense of what's happening, they're playing. And then one of our elves, when it's their turn, comes and rounds up their family.
So great.
And brings them to the Santa room, and they get to go in and they have the experience. And sometimes the kids balk and they're like, right? And the mom is always like, no, it's, again, it's not gonna happen, right? And we go, no, it's okay, go play. And then we take the next family in and do whatever, and then we come back, and then we bring them in again, and sometimes it takes the full hour. And there's been at least one time where we went into the parking lot.
Okay, so I was just going to say that the beautiful part about our event is Santa Claus and you, okay,
Well, Santa's the
and your
best.
elves, and you went to the car that year. I mean,
yeah.
it was incredible.
We'll do
And I
whatever.
think you did it last year also, or. Okay, so last year was incredible, and it's important. I want to make sure all the viewers know that this is for all ages. Okay, so
Yeah.
I might start losing it here and crying, but when I tell you is that we think of special needs and it's just children, but it's not. It's adults. And you remember last year, okay,
Yes.
this group home, and they were anywhere I think from 40 to 65 years old. Oh, okay. So I had an owner visiting, training in from Canada. We still talk about it. I mean, we were bawling.
Yeah.
Tatiana and myself and, some of my girls from corporate. It was so overwhelming to see their excitement.
Yeah.
And one of the gentlemen was nonverbal, and he comes over to me and he just puts his hand on me like this. And the eye contact,
Yeah.
I could feel what he was thinking.
Yeah.
And it was one of those squishy balls, and he was so excited. God, do you remember that? It
I
was
totally. In
just,
fact, I talked about it on yesterday's show because for me it was a big thing. They call them the massive googly balls from Imperial Toys, and we started giving different presents to adults, and they were like, "No, we all want the massive googly ball." There's something that happens that's magic at the event, but I do think that not having to wait in line is the big deal. That is the success. But then the cherry on the top is that everybody gets that toy, and we have great toys donated by great companies, and that there's no cost, and that parents. Don't you find it funny whenever we go into the Santa room, parents will be like, am I allowed to take a picture? And I'm like, oh, take all the pictures you want, hon. This is your time.
It's so
And they're
great.
like, really? Like, who do I have to pay? And we're like, no, just take the, because it's such the antithetical is what I want to say to the mall, where they rush you in. You paid $36, they take the picture, your child is screaming, and you're done, and you were not allowed to take a picture on your phone. This is the complete antithesis. That's the word I wanted of this. And you get to come in and take as many pictures as you want. It's magical.
And you were saying, which is true, there are a lot of places, which I'm so great, they've come on board and done these Sense of Santa events, but they're not free, Shannon. I mean, you guys, what you do with Autism Live and Card, it's incredible. You offer this for free. It's the best toys. Last year, Gabriel got this $150 robot, for crying out loud. I mean, I wish it would clean, but it does everything else in the house.
Right.
It's unbelievable. But, also, for viewers out there who don't know what We Rock the Spectrum is, I mean, it's a zip line, it's a trampoline, it's all occupational therapy equipment where their kiddos, if they can't go back right away to sit on Santa's lap, they can get on this equipment, regulate, and then try again, like you said.
Exactly, and I do think that that's the secret sauce. At the all the card locations now do a Sensitive Santa for the clients that they have, where there is a Santa and parents get to come and take the picture, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's very small inside each center. But there they don't wait in line either, because the kids are doing therapy in different rooms, and they'll call them out to be with Santa and whatever. But I couldn't do what we do if we didn't have your gym. And I do think it is the secret sauce to our Sensitive Santa. And anybody who misses it, well, I just say to you, you've missed out. It really is incredible. The first year that we did it, and like the third family that came in, and I was all like, oh, we got to do this, it's in my head, and which toy, and just not being present. Let's be honest. And but then we got the child up on Santa's lap, and the mom was taking pictures, and then she just erupted like Mount Vesuvius, and was sobbing and hugging us and going, this, you have no idea. And you and I were saying, yes, but we do.
Exactly.
But we exactly do, and that's why we're doing this. And there's always some moment like that every single year where it's just miraculous.
But incredibly, people travel. Okay, so we have owners in Downey, and they're sharing the heck out of the event in Tarzana. People drive hours away to get to this event that you guys do.
And I want to say, so there are tickets that are still available. You can go on our Facebook page and find the link. But if it goes by the hour, right? If the hour that you're trying to log on to is full, each hour has a waiting list. And I tell everybody, be on the waiting list and show up. Thus far, in however many years we've been doing this, and I can't believe we're not sure how many, but in all the years, we have never had to turn down a kid because we couldn't get to the waiting list. People somehow don't show up because things happen. We've always been able to accommodate everybody.
Well, you squeeze everyone in. It's not just people not showing up.
Well,
somehow the Claus family works it out.
It works out. So please sign up for waiting list if you can't get in the hour that you want to get in, because we'd love to have you there. And so that's happening. It starts tonight, which I'm a little like,
Yes. Oh, excited.
So it's from 5 to 8 tonight. Tomorrow night it's from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's a hard 7 p.m. that we have to be done. And then on Saturday it's from 10 to 3:30. So please make sure that you reserve. Don't just show up. Although you could try that, but please reserve tickets because we're going to go by the people who were registered first, the people on the wait list next. So.
You know what I also want to encourage is bring the whole family. Because I feel like it's important for the siblings to also see, to see this part. I know for my daughter Sophia, I know you've probably heard me tell this story, how when she was 5 years old and Gabriel was diagnosed, what was her line and why I started We Rock the Spectrum was, I wish I had autism too, Mommy. Aww. I mean, it broke my heart. But I feel like the siblings, again, seeing, their brother or their sister, just, again, feel like they're just, like another kid, because what do they want to do? They want to feel like they're the same, like they belong, and, have the universal language, which you and I both say, which is fun. Yeah. And I feel like it's important. It's important for the whole family to see. I know my husband, literally 2 weeks ago, so when's the Sense of Santa event? I'm like, why are you asking me? He said, well, because, I have this run, I want to go to, my husband's a runner, but I want to make sure it's not on the event. I said, well, I know one day it's going to be on a Saturday. Okay, well, I can't go Thursday, Friday, but I'm going to be there Saturday. I mean, really, the whole family, we look forward to it.
I love it. Well, we look forward to it, too. And I definitely think, when you say whole family, I literally am saying to people, whole family, just don't bring the dogs and the cats. Right? Because we don't have room for them in the gym. But a lot of times people bring grandma. And I think it's, as you said, it helps to normalize it for the siblings so that they go, oh, look, there's other siblings here and everybody's doing okay and it's all right. And they get a gift too, by the way. Everybody gets the gift, all the kids get a gift. And I think sometimes there has to be a perk, right?
Of course.
Because there are things that are not the perk. Like we have to go here because your brother or sister who's on the spectrum has to do this, and it's like, so every once in a while you should get something extra to sort of even it out. And there are events that make it extra, and this is one of those. So they get a free gift. And they're cool gifts too.
They are. They are. I don't know how you do it.
Well, this year we kind of outdid ourselves because we had Cindy, and Cindy's like a secret weapon.
I know. The gym's
Have
busting.
You seen my office?
I went to We Rock in Tarzana this morning, and I went, holy moly! Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
First of all, it looked beautiful. Okay, it looks beautiful.
Done, but it's getting there. No, and have you seen my office and outside? We still, it's
unbelievable.
It's Santa's workshop has exploded.
I met someone randomly who said, "Oh yeah, well my wife and I, we have these felt houses and we donate to Autism-live in your event." I said, "Wow."
I know exactly what you're talking about. This year they have a felt farm.
They do. They have a felt farm. I love that.
It's yes, My Little House and My Little Farm, and we love them. Created by, his wife is a speech and language pathologist who invented this wonderful, in fact, we're going to be demoing it I don't know, tomorrow maybe.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
so,
great. I wish Gabriel.
My Little Farm, check it out.
Right, I bet when, right, I bet when our boys were little, I mean, seriously, if Gabriel had that, oh my gosh.
Right, absolutely. A wonderful, wonderful. The My Little House we had in the toy guide the last 2 years, and it was like our top toy ever. And then this year it's the My Little Farm, because we've been saying to them, when are you going to do a spin-off with other categories of things? So now it's the My Little Farm.
I didn't even know they were around that long.
Yeah, they've been around for 3 years, I think. So
I love it.
We like them a lot. We even have a thing that we show sometimes from My Little House. We need to
Well,
make
her
a My Little
husband
House.
is the big fan, I have to tell you. I love that. Husband and wife. And
we like him a lot.
he's there, promoting, and my wife, and she's the genius, and
Yep,
said to
and
my
she is.
husband, I went home after we had the demo, okay, I think it was like a month or two ago, I said, I think I need to show you the video clip of him doing the demo for our ownership, because I hope you talk about me like he talks about his wife. Yeah, it was really sweet.
That's wonderful. Well, they're lovely. So we got like 1 more minute here. Let's talk just a little bit, because if you're not in the Los Angeles area and you just have been, this whole time going, yeah, you people in LA who have everything, right? The truth of the matter is that how many gyms did you say?
83.
And literally now all over the world, if you're not in the Los Angeles area and you are looking for this kind of place, it's very possible that there is already a We Rock where you are. How would they find that out?
So you can go on our franchise site, which is www.wrtsfranchise.com.
Which stands for the WRTS,
Which is We Rock the Spectrum. Or you can also just go on werockthespectrum.com. What I love about our franchise is there's locations, there's a location page on every single gym's site, because again, we're stronger together. Okay, we're about helping as many families as we can, just like you.
Well, and so check it out, see where one is near you, and then go and try it out for just 1 day. But then once you see that you love it, they have packages where you can buy a bunch of times that you can come to the gym. And sometimes the gyms have different events, like they have movie nights.
New Year's Eve. I can't believe what my gym owners come up with. It's amazing. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, they do this balloon drop.
Oh my
They make it
gosh.
so incredible.
Oh, that's so cute.
I seriously will start crying. People were posting videos about it and saying, "Oh, are you going to do the New Year's, Eve?" And I couldn't believe it. It's just, it's wonderful, really. Everything that these incredible minds. I mean, Shannon, we have parents, we've got therapists, that are owners. It's beautiful to see everything. So New Year's Eve is a huge thing, also.
So you definitely need to find out what the activities are at the gym that's near you, and plan to go for some of those. There's times there's open play where you can bring your child, and then you're there and you're doing your work or whatever on the counter, and your child is playing in the gym, and you have eyes on them the whole time. There are other events where you can drop your child off and you can go shopping or go get your nails done or whatever. And there are lots of families here in Los Angeles, I'm sure you do this other places too, that to have their therapy happen at the gym, where the ABA therapist meets them there and they do the
everything.
therapy
That's what
at
changed
the gym.
Gabriel completely, is when I brought in all the therapy when we first opened, now over 9 years ago, 9.5 years ago, I can't believe it. That's what changed Gabriel, who went from moderate to severe on the spectrum to where he's at today, which is where your son is, and we're grateful. But it's hard work to do it.
Oh my gosh.
But having speech therapy, ABA therapy, the social skills classes on that equipment does so much more for our kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So check that out. But then if you start to see, if this starts to all make sense to you, or if you see that there isn't one near you and you go, why isn't there one? You have to apply, and they don't take everybody. You got to be the right fit. But they do have a franchise opportunity if you want to open one. And I have always said, and I believe that this is the truth, we did something else. I started a different business that was a turnkey thing when my son was being treated. But if you were I was a couple of years ahead of you. If I had had the opportunity to open a We Rock the Spectrum gym, that's what I would have done, and there would have been no Autism Live, because I would be running
Can you imagine you and I together? I mean, that would be, a little scary, right?
I think you would hate me by now. But yes, but that's what I would have done, because it would have made sense for me as a mom with a child going through therapy that needed to make a living.
Exactly.
And while he was doing therapy, I would have done that in a heartbeat. I really would have. And I've seen you have some amazing success stories with owners.
It's been phenomenal. Like I said, I didn't think I'd be able to have a job anymore.
And look at this, right. And so many other families that have said the same thing. And instead of having that thing where you have to go away and you're not able to look at what's happening with your child, they get everything and gain a family because your community comes to your gym. So I put that out there. We have We Rock the Spectrum kidsgym.com up there, but I think it's werockthespectrum.com.
Actually, it's all of it. It's all of it.
Okay.
We have all the URLs. We want to make it easy for the public if they can't remember.
That's very nice of you. So join us tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday for the Sensitive Santa event, but definitely check out their website to see the things that are happening near you. now and in the future and participate in it, because I promise you, you will never be sorry. It's such a great place
It's
to be.
amazing what all the owners are doing. I love it.
And the phrase that you have on every gym, share before we leave.
Finally, a place where you never have to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're a parent out there and you have a child with autism or any other special ability, you know what that means.
Yeah, you absolutely do. It's a gift to all of us.
Thank
you so much.
Thank
We're so
you for doing what
proud
you
to
do.
partner with you on this. So check us out, get your tickets reserved,
Yes.
and then come and see us. And then you can hang out with us.
Yeah.
And we're just a laugh riot. We've kept it nailed down a little
Right?
bit here.
We've toned it down.
But you'll see, we're a little on the nutty side, and more so when together. So
Maybe I'll be
come
an elf this
and
year.
have fun. Would you?
I will. I'll
All
be
right.
an elf this year.
Okay, so come and see us. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to be back with more Autism Live. Stick with us.
Hey, I'm Candace Cameron Bray.
Tom Bergeron.
You're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
You're watching Autism Live.
Welcome back. What a fun time that was. And we're so excited because tonight, don't forget, we've gone a little bit over here, but I want you to know that we still have tickets for tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. Don't forget, register for them. Go on our Facebook right now. They're free if you're in the Los Angeles area. It's worth it. You get to come to the gym, play, see Santa, get that toy. We'll all be there or be square. We're back tomorrow, and I want to make sure that you guys know, and I already took it out of here, but tomorrow we've got great show for you, so don't miss it. We're reviewing some really incredible toys, and I always say, you know, it's not really Christmas until Brian Turtle from Endless Games comes. He's here tomorrow. Officially, it's Christmas tomorrow. So join us then. Until then, and join us tonight. We rock the spectrum for Sensitive Santa. But until tomorrow, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.